I went back to the exact spot I said I'd never return to. It's a strange feeling, a conscious act of defying your own instincts, pushing past that primal voice in your head that's screaming at you to turn back. Every fiber of my being remembered the cold dread of the last time, the way the water felt heavy, oppressive, the way the silence down there wasn't peaceful but watchful, as if the river itself was holding its breath. The comments on the last video were a torrent of warnings, hundreds of them. Leave it buried. Some things are best left alone. You're messing with something you don't understand. Friends called, their voices laced with genuine concern. They all said the same thing, pleading with me to let it go. Everyone told me to leave it alone. But the questions were louder than their warnings. What was it? Why was it there? That signal? It wasn't just a random piece of scrap. It felt significant. The mystery of it all had burrowed into my mind, a constant nagging whisper that I couldn't ignore day or night. It was an obsession, a splinter I couldn't remove. It was a puzzle I had to solve, no matter the cost. But I needed answers, so I prepared. This time was different. I brought better lighting, a more sensitive detector, and multiple cameras with redundant housings. I even brought a small ROV, just in case. I mapped the area from memory, planning my grid search with almost obsessive detail. I told myself that knowledge and preparation would conquer fear. I'm not sure I believed it, but it was the only armor I had. As soon as I submerged, I knew something was off. The water was darker, colder than I remembered for this time of year, a chill that felt unnatural and profound. The visibility was maybe half of what it was before. A thick, soupy haze of silt hung in the water column, turning my powerful dive lights into diffused, ghostly beams that struggled to cut through the gloom. It was like diving through smoke, and the current felt stronger than before. It was a physical presence, a relentless push against my body, trying to force me downstream, away from my target. Every movement required effort. Every kick of my fins was a fight to hold my position. It felt like the river itself was actively trying to reject me, to keep its secrets buried and undisturbed. I started my search grid, my movements slow and deliberate against the current. For the first 20 minutes, nothing. Just the monotonous hum of my regulator and the occasional false signal. A discarded fishing weight, a modern bottle cap, the kind of junk you find in any river. My mind started to play tricks on me. Maybe it was gone. Maybe the current had shifted the riverbed, burying it under a new layer of sand or washing it away entirely. A part of me, the sensible part, was flooded with relief at the thought. Then, a strong, clear signal. My heart leaped. The tone was solid, consistent. I marked the spot and began to carefully dig, my pulse quickening. The sand was coarse, heavy. After a minute of careful work, I uncovered the edge of something metal. It was an old license plate, maybe from the 70s, bent and corroded. Another dead end. The disappointment was sharp, but I pushed it down and reset, forcing myself to stick to the grid. The river was testing my patience. I moved to the next section of the grid, the area where my memory and my GPS coordinates told me it should be. I swept the detector low over the sandy bottom, the beam of my light cutting a solitary path through the murk. And then it happened. A faint warble from the detector, barely audible. I froze, holding my breath, listening. I swept over the spot again. Then my detector hit the exact same signal. It wasn't a warble anymore. It was a piercing, undeniable scream. The same pitch, the same intensity, the same solid lock I remembered. It was a sound that had haunted my thoughts for weeks. A jolt of adrenaline shot through me, sharp and electric, overriding the cold that had started to seep into my bones. It was here. It hadn't moved. It was waiting. I knelt on the riverbed, the current tugging at my shoulders. My own heartbeat was a frantic drum against my ribs. I began to clear away the sand, my movements slow, deliberate. I had to be careful. The first rule of finding any unknown object, especially one this old, is to do no harm. You don't know what it is, how fragile it might be, or if it's even safe. Every action had to be precise. The sand was heavy, mixed with smooth, dark river stones. I brushed them away, one by one. The silence in my headphones was absolute, broken only by the sound of my own breathing and the faint scratching of my gloves against the sediment. The world narrowed to this small circle of light on the river floor. Nothing else existed. It was still there, exactly where I left it. The corner emerged first, A dark, right-angled piece of metal, pitted and covered in a thick black layer of corrosion that seemed to absorb the light from my torch. It wasn't rock. It was man-made, solid, heavy, and it felt impossibly old. I worked faster now, a strange mix of excitement and dread propelling me forward. I cleared more sand, revealing a flat surface, then another edge. It was larger than I'd first thought. Not just a small box. This was something substantial. As I uncovered more of it, the feeling of unease from my first dive returned, tenfold. This object felt ancient, wrong. It didn't belong here. It felt like a violation of the natural order. And that's when I noticed something I missed last time. A detail that was impossible to see until this much of it was uncovered. On one of the corners, where the corrosion was slightly thinner, there was a mark. Not a scratch or a dent from the river, but an engraving. A symbol. Faint, but deliberate. It wasn't a language I recognized. It was geometric, precise, and it made the hairs on my arms stand up. It felt like a warning. My hand hovered inches from the surface. I leaned in closer for a better look, my light tracing the strange symbol. And then I heard it. A faint ping. It wasn't my gear. It wasn't a rock settling. It was a clear, metallic note that seemed to emanate from the object itself, vibrating through the water and into the bones of my jaw. My blood ran cold. The water shifted, bubbles exploded, and I backed away fast. It wasn't a gentle release of trapped gas. It was a violent, explosive eruption from the sediment right beside the object. The sand blasted upwards, engulfing my light in a blinding cloud of silt. The roar was deafening, a chaotic surge of pressure that I felt in my chest. My training, my instincts, everything screamed one word: danger. I scrambled backwards, kicking frantically, losing my grip on the detector. The world became a disorienting mess of churning sand, roaring bubbles, and the frantic thumping of my own heart. For a second, the pressure change made my vision tunnel, the edges darkening. This wasn't a natural occurrence. This was a reaction. Something about my disturbing the object had triggered this. I'm not touching it. That was the only thought I could form. Get away. Do not touch it. This is beyond my expertise, beyond my pay grade, beyond anything I am equipped to handle. This isn't treasure hunting anymore. This is something else entirely. As I put distance between myself and the site, the water began to clear. But the feeling of dread was now a permanent, icy knot in my stomach. The river had shown its teeth. But I need expert help. I need a historian, maybe a geologist, or an archaeologist. I need someone who can look at that symbol and tell me what I'm dealing with. I need someone who can explain the violent reaction of the riverbed. I made a vow not to return, and I broke it. Now, I'm making a new vow. I will not go near that thing again without knowing exactly what it is. The risk is too great. The unknown is too terrifying. I have the coordinates. I have the footage. I have a sketch of the symbol I saw. But I'm out of my depth, literally and figuratively. This is where I turn to you, the community. Look at the evidence. Tell me what to do. And follow for part 7. Cold open. We found a corroded right-angled metal mass with a deliberate symbol on its corner. Then the river answered with a violent burst of gas and a hard electronic glitch that nearly blacked me out. Segment 1. Symbol decoding. I sent high-resolution stills of the engraving to 3 people, an epigrapher, a marine archaeologist, and a materials scientist. We isolated the mark. Here's what stands out. The symbol is built from straight lines only, 2 parallel strokes, tight spacing, a bisecting diagonal, 45 degrees, clean. A small right-angle tick at the lower end, like a reference notch. Depth of etch is shallow, less than a millimeter where corrosion is thin. Orientation appears intentional. Diagonal slants down right when the mass sits with the long edge horizontal. It's not random chatter. The epigrapher's take, not a script, no letter form rhythm, no ligature flow. It reads like a sign, not words. The marine archaeologist compared it to maritime makers' marks. Shipyard stamps, foundry badges, inspection strikes. No direct match in the common registries. But the geometry echoes hazard iconography. Angled bars, directionality, and a notch that could indicate this side or alignment. The materials scientist flagged something else. The lines are crisp beneath corrosion. That suggests the mark was inscribed after the surface was finished, not cast into it. A post-manufacture warning, not decoration. We laid it over known systems. Alchemical motifs, maritime load marks, electrical field schematics, maker's monograms. Too cold, too clinical. Consensus. It signals caution. Orientation matters. It's there to tell a technician how to approach. Segment 2. Material and age assessment. Visual cues first. The surface is black, not brown, underwater. Thick, matte corrosion with pitting that absorbs light. Edges remain surprisingly true. Right angles hold, plates look flat, corners haven't rounded like cast iron in long immersion. That points to a tough alloy. Weight versus displacement, judging by how slowly the exposed corner settled after my fin wake nudged it. It didn't skitter like aluminum or thin steel. It stayed. Heavy core. I didn't test magnetism down there. Conditions were wrong. But based on texture and the way my detector locked, it's likely ferrous. High carbon steel or a specialty alloy. Manganese steel perhaps, known for impact resistance and corrosion stubbornness. Rule-outs. Aluminum? No. Brass or bronze? We'd see green blooms, not black plate. Cast iron? Edges would crumble. Pitting would be more granular. Nickel iron or meteoritic alloy? Tempting, because of the black patina and density. But meteoritic material tends to show Widmanstätten patterning when etched. This is engineered flatwork. Industrial, not cosmic. Corrosion behavior matters here. This is cold, fast freshwater punctuated by silt. Freshwater corrosion is slower than seawater, but the river's oxygen cycles and sediment berry exposed cycles create alternating layers. Oxygenated top, anoxic beneath. Iron in those layers forms black magnetite scale that can look ancient. Add chloride intrusion from winter salt runoff, and you get pits that darken and harden. That's why it looks impossibly old yet engineered. It isn't a relic from a lost age. It's likely 20th century or later steel, designed to keep a true edge, buried long enough to grow a skin of time. Segment 3. Geology and riverbed behavior. About the eruption. The gas wasn't a casual fizz, it was a sharp, directional blowout from the silt adjacent to the mass. Two plausible causes. 1. Trapped methane and CO2 pockets in an anoxic layer. The object's flat sides create a hard boundary. Silt bridges around it, building a cap. When I cleared sand, I broke the seal. Pressure equalized fast, the pocket detonated upward. 2. Rapid degassing from disturbed anoxic silt. Fine sediments hold dissolved gases under pressure. Agitation. My hand, my lights warming a skin of water, my detector's vibrations. Can nucleate release. Think opening a shaken bottle. Layer and current shear. The flow here is powerful. When silt liquefies, a mix of fine grains and pore water, it behaves like a fluid. The river's push funnels it along the object's face, venting hard. Pressure wave reflections add bite. A broad, flat plate reflects the impulse. Disturbance hits the plate, bounces back, and focuses into the gap between plate and bed. That makes a pop feel like a punch. And the ping I felt in my jaw? Bone conduction. Sound travels faster and farther in water and metal. If the object rang, briefly, the vibration coupled through my regulator, through my skull. I felt it as much as I heard it. Segment 4. Electromagnetic anomalies. The detector told its own story. Initial faint warble, then a clean, consistent scream. The pinpointer locked hard, then the camera glitched. 3 ideas. 1. Shielding and resonance. A hollow cavity within metal can behave like a resonator. Your detector's field couples, the cavity rings, and the return signal steadies, like a tuning fork. That yields a strong, repeatable tone. 2. Ferromagnetic saturation. A dense steel mass can partially saturate under the detector's field, creating a stable signal and rarely injecting noise into nearby electronics. 3. Internal structure. If there's a compartment, mesh, or layered plates, you can get standing waves, field patterns that lock your pinpointer in place. It feels like the target grabs the signal. Caution here. An energized unknown, batteries, capacitors, or old circuitry, underwater is a risk. Even if the source is dead, salt-contaminated silt can create stray currents. The glitch could be interference, or it could be my camera reacting to sudden pressure and particulate impact. Either way, treat it as live until proven otherwise. Segment 5. Risk and protocol. I asked a dive safety officer and a UXO consultant what to do next. Their checklist is blunt. Do not touch the object. Establish a no-dive exclusion zone with marked surface buoys. Record precise coordinates and river conditions, flow rate, depth, temperature, visibility. Notify authorities if ordnance or hazardous industrial equipment is suspected. Old riverbeds hide munitions, transformers, chemical canisters. If there is even a 10% chance, treat it as UXO. No human return until a remote survey is done. ROV first. Begin with a wide, non-contact pass. Then a slow, close pass from the side away from the engraved mark. Approach from the quiet face until we know what that mark indicates. Run multi-gas monitoring topside. Methane, hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide. If levels spike, abort. Take a sediment core upflow and downflow. Check for gas layering, contamination, and grain size. This tells us how likely another blowout is. Map the site. Side scan sonar for shape and orientation. Magnetometer sweep to define the metal's footprint beyond what we can see. If the magnetic anomaly extends, we're not dealing with a small box, we're dealing with a larger structure. Permits matter. If it's archaeological, we need state permits, tribal consultation if culturally sensitive, and a chain of custody for any sample. If it's industrial, contact the river authority and environmental agency before any movement. No cutting, no prying, no scraping, no thermal tools, no electricity near the target. Conclusion and next steps. Here's where we are. The symbol is a warning, not art. The metal is engineered, heavy, and likely 20th century or later. The river's eruption was a physics problem. Dangerous, but explainable. The electromagnetic behavior hints at complexity inside. I need credentialed eyes. If you are, or can connect me with, a licensed marine or river archaeologist, a metallurgist with ferrous corrosion experience, or a geophysicist familiar with magnetometer and side scan interpretation, reach out. Provide credentials. I'll share the raw stills, the symbol sketch, and the coordinates under NDA if required. The plan: no diver in the water. We return with an ROV, a coring kit, a side scan, and magnetometer package. We stage with emergency off-gassing protocols, surface fans, gas meters, line tenders. We approach slow. We don't touch. If we confirm an internal chamber, we stop. If we see cabling or fixtures, we stop. If the gas flares again, we stop. Respect the mark. This river kept a secret. It wants us to earn it. We'll investigate the symbol's meaning in Part 7.